All right, so welcome everyone to today's class. We'll be focusing on the lower back and aligning the spine so that we can relieve any tension that you might be experiencing in the lower back, more specifically in first and second trimesters as you begin to grow. So we'll begin lying down with the spine flat on the floor. Coming into Shavasana, you can have the feet hip distance apart, and if it's not comfortable to lie on your back now because of your baby, you can roll over onto your left side, and that will allow the blood to flow freely. So take a few deep breaths here, just settling in. And as a nice comforting practice, we'll bring the hands onto the baby. The fingertips don't need to touch, they can be slightly parted. And then consciously relax the jaw. And take a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. For this practice of abdominal breathing, close the mouth and breathe in through both nostrils evenly. Take an inhalation and allow the belly to rise upward and expand like a balloon. And as you exhale, allow the belly to naturally contract, sinking back towards the navel, navel to the spine. Inhale, belly rises and expands. Exhale, belly sinks and contracts. Go on practicing this, a really slow and smooth breath. Keep bringing your awareness back to the breath. Inhale, belly rises and expands to cosmic proportions. Exhale, belly contracts and sinks back down towards the earth. Allow the breath to lengthen naturally and deepen. Seven more breaths like this, smooth and deep. Make this your final breath here. And then let go of the awareness at the abdomen. And now bring your awareness to the tip of the tailbone. With the eyes closed, visualize the tip of the tailbone. And now rise your awareness up the spine, one vertebra at a time. Create length as you move up the spine. through the middle, around the ribs, to the upper back, to the neck, and the spine finishes just in between the ears and the center of the head. Visualize the top of the spine in between the ears and the center of the head. Now travel back down the spine, one vertebra at a time, from the top down, through the neck, through the upper back, down through the middle, down through the gentle curve of the lower back, reaching to finish at the tip of the tailbone. Throughout the class, I'll invite you to bring awareness to the spine by visualizing it running long through the body. We'll now turn over onto our left side and come up onto hands and knees. Remember, throughout the class, we want to move slowly between postures so that we're not rushing. We also want to sip water to maintain hydration. And if you feel at all unwell, you just take a seat, sit back or lie down in whichever way is comfortable for you. We want to maintain a gentle approach to the practice, and we only want to go 70% of our usual flexibility so that we avoid any damaging of ligaments and muscles. We want to stay protecting our body. So the wrists are beneath the shoulders. Spread the fingertips wide apart. The knees are below each hip, and then the feet are in line with the knees. Take this moment now to lengthen the spine from the tailbone up through the crown of the head, so the neck is long. And then on your next inhalation, arch the spine, lifting the tailbone up towards the ceiling, and lift your gaze as you push the belly towards the floor. Exhale to round the spine, push the floor away and tuck your tailbone right under. Inhale to arch, baby moves towards the floor as you smile the collarbones forward. Exhale to round, push the floor away, tucking your tailbone under, shifting the pelvis forward. Keep going, 3 more rounds. Inhale to arch and exhale to round. On your next inhalation, come back to a neutral spine with the neck long once again. Feel the spine running from the base, the tailbone, all the way up to the top. With length running through the spine and space between each vertebra. We're going to step the right leg back, reaching the toes onto the floor, and the heel is lifted. We press out through the heel. Feel the stretch from this tailbone all the way down through the buttocks and out the leg and heel. And we're going to draw the navel to the spine gently, not contracting, but just a gentle pull so that we can maintain control. And then lift the left arm forward, bringing the fingertips in line with the shoulders. Lift the back toes off the floor if you can, and reach, pointing the toes. Visualize the line from the toe moving up through the inner leg to the tailbone, up the spine and out the crown of the head, reaching for the fingertips. And then lower the hand down to the floor and lower the knee. Make sure that the knee is below the hip, and then stretch the left foot back onto the floor, toes pressing into the mat and reaching out through the heel. Again, gently draw the navel to the spine, and then reach the right arm forward, bringing the fingertips in line with the shoulder. Lift the toes off the floor and point to reach from the toes all the way up through the spine and out through the fingertips. Feel this diagonal twist stretch through the spine and the back area. On your next exhalation, lower the hand down to the floor and then lower the knee back underneath the hip. We'll do 2 more each side. Stretch the right leg back, toes on the floor to start. Reach the arm forward, and on your next inhalation, lift the toes off the floor. Hold for a moment here, but keep breathing naturally. We don't want to hold the breath. We want to let it flow freely. And then lower the hand down and then lower the foot. Other side, left foot back, toes to the floor. Reach the right arm forward, keep breathing. Lift the toes off the floor, point and stretch diagonally through the back and spine. Keep breathing. And then lower the hand down, lower the knee. Complete 1 more each side by yourself. Be mindful with your movement and aware of the stretch through the spine. We want to avoid lifting the ankle above the buttocks, but keep the ankle in line with them. Sit back onto the heels when you've completed your final round. Take a sip of water if you need to, and swallow your saliva. To make sure that we have good protection of our wrists, we'll reach the arms forward and then close the fingertips around the thumbs. Make circles with the wrists, lifting the knuckles up and then down and around. Draw the knuckles up towards the ceiling, around and down. Try to keep the forearms straight in front of you. We want the movement to be from the wrist, not from the elbow or shoulder. Try to coordinate your breathing with this movement. Inhaling, move up. Exhale, around. The breath slows and the movement does too. Take 1 more in this direction, and then you can change direction. Inhaling the circle up and exhaling around. One more. And then relax the hands, shaking them out. And relax the shoulders, rolling them up and back a few times. Remember, we move slowly and smoothly to maintain that feeling of grace and also to keep the nervous system calm. Bring the hands together in front of your heart now and rub the palms to create heat. Rubbing is a really great way to help alleviate any tension or pain that we might have in our joints or in our muscles throughout your pregnancy. So by rubbing the hands together, they can become like a nice little heat pack, which we can use on the area which is tender. When you've got enough heat between your fingers and palms, we're going to bring them onto the lower back, pressing down gently into the area and let out a sigh. You can then start to make circles, rubbing the area slowly and gently. Circular motion is good, or whichever way that you can. You can use just 2 fingers, the index and middle, or you could use the palm. Whatever works best for you. Few more breaths here. Keep that breath flowing smoothly. And then bring the hands now onto the knees. We're going to do some neck rotations to keep the alignment running from the base of the spine and up through the whole spine and out of the crown. On your next exhalation, bow the chin forward towards the chest. Stretch through the back of the neck And then inhale to lift the chin up towards the sky. Eyes can be closed or open, whichever suits you. Exhale to bow the head forward, stretch through the back. Inhale to lift and stretch through the front. 3 more. On your next inhalation, bring the spine back to neutral. And then on your next exhalation, bring the right ear towards the right shoulder and stretch through the side of the neck. Inhale, bring the neck back straight, and then exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Inhale back to center, and exhale to the right. Inhale center, exhale left. Inhale center. 3 more each side. As you do this, try to keep the chin slightly lifted. We don't want the bowing forward because this will change the alignment of the spine, the neck. On your next inhalation, bring the head back to center. Now, as you exhale, turn to look over the right shoulder. And now bring the head back to center. And then exhale, turn the head to look over the left shoulder. And then inhale back to center. 3 more each side. Exhale to twist and inhale center. Next time you inhale, bring the head back to center. Spine nice and straight. Should feel some more space in the vertebrae in your neck, and the shoulders hopefully relaxed. We'll come now to sitting on our buttocks to create some space through our hips and the lower back. Baddha-Konasana, the soles of the feet are together and the knees are out to the sides. You can pull the flesh back away from the sit bones to help you ground the buttocks down into the floor. And then bring the hands onto the feet. Take an inhalation and lengthen the spine, lifting through the center of the chest and up, out through the crown of the head. And then we gently begin to bounce the knees. Small bounces to start off with as we open up through the hip joint. This should create some space through the pelvis and the lower back. Bring a smile to your lips so that you can relax and enjoy this motion. Begin to increase the size of the bounces as the hips become more lubricated with the synovial fluid. Allow them to click and open. The breath is flowing smoothly, freely, naturally. Keep going. 40 of these bounces per day is really good for your pelvic health. A lovely thing to do for yourself leading up to labor. It will help to keep you nice and open in this area. And 3, and 2, and 1. Pause. Bring the hands down onto the floor beside the hips and the buttocks beside you. Take an inhalation and reach the arms up overhead to lengthen the spine. As you exhale, lower the right hand to the floor and reach the left arm, fingertips overhead. Keep the chin and chest lifted in the side bend. On your next inhalation, reach both arms up, and then exhale to side bend, the opposite side, bringing the hand to the floor, the gentle bend through the elbow. Inhale up, and exhale, side bend. 3 more each side. Just gently warming up through the sides of the body. Last one each side. Inhale, rise both arms up, lengthen. Exhale, lower the hands to the outsides of the knees and draw them together like a book. Bring the feet in front of you and gently windscreen wiper the knees from side to side to release any tension in the hips. And then pause here, back in center, and we'll continue with the stretching of the lower back and the back body by reaching the feet out to the sides in a nice V shape. Remember, we only go into about 70% of what we would usually do before we're pregnant because we don't want to overstretch. And flex the feet here. Pull the flesh back away from the sit bones to maintain integrity in the spine. Interlace the fingers together in front of you and stretch the arms forward, but keep the torso upright. On your next breath, reach the arms forward in front of you and then sweep them across to the right foot, reaching over the toes. Then draw a line with the hand back down, up the leg, leaning back slightly, pass the hands over the body and then reach forward down the left leg beyond the toes. Sweep the arms across in front of you to the opposite foot and then lean back. Like churning a mill filled with butter or mixing cake mixture, whatever it is that you would like to visualize to help you to smoothly flow in a circular motion. We'll add the breath as you lean back, inhale, and as you exhale, lean forward. Inhale back, exhale forward. And of course, now I invite you to add the shoo sound to the breath. As you exhale. One more in this direction. Then change direction. Stay with the breath, inhaling to lean back and exhale forward. Try to keep a nice length through the spine here. As you lean forward, don't want to round, but keep the spine lifted up, out through the crown of the head. A few more. Last one. And then coming back upright. Bring the hands onto the floor, each side of the hip, and then we're going to side bend again. Inhale to reach the arms up overhead and lengthen through the sides of the waist. Exhale, side bend to the right, bring the hand to the floor and bend the elbow. Keep the chest and chin lifted. Inhale, rising back up with both arms, and exhale to the left. Chin and chest lifts as you side bend, grounding the hip into the floor and reaching up and over. Inhale, up. Exhale. 3 more each side. Keep the breath flowing freely. If you'd like to add the shoo sound, go ahead. Inhaling back upright with both arms and then exhaling, lower down. Bring the hands onto the legs and close them, bringing them together. We'll bring the knees to one side and come standing on the knees. The knees can be slightly apart and the toes tucked or untucked, whichever is most comfortable for your balance. And then we'll come into a side lunge here. So step your right foot out to the side. You might like to use the floor to help you set up, depending on how big you are. The heels below the knee. And then walk the hands back, bringing them onto the hips. You should feel an opening through the pelvis and up through the thigh. You can extend the arms out to the sides. And now reach the tailbone down towards the floor. Looking over the front fingertips. Bend the knee and lean into the heel. Feel a stretch through the pelvis. And then inhaling, coming back. Exhale to lean into the heel and to the side. And then inhaling, coming back to center. Just a gentle pulse as you breathe in and out. Feel free to practice the shh on the exhalation if you like. We'll do 3 more. Shh. 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 And then lower the hands down onto the hips. Bring the hands down onto the floor. We'll now turn the hands over the foot which is pointing the short edge of the mat and turn the back foot so that it's in line with the knee and the front foot. So we're coming into a low lunge now. Make sure that the heel is still below the knee and then bring the hands up onto the knee. The weight should be in the center right now and the tailbone moving down towards the floor. Take an inhalation and bring the hands up overhead. Lengthen your spine. Visualize the spine moving from the crown in between the ears down, down, down to the tailbone. As if someone was holding a stick, it would go directly into the floor. And then bend the elbows, opening through the heart center. As we lean the weight back, we slightly straighten that front knee and then exhale, bend and lean the weight forward into the heel. Inhale to lean back. Exhale to lean forward. Keep sending that tailbone vertically down into the floor. A few more here. Next time you come forward, bring the hands down to the floor either side of the foot, and then walk the hands back around and turn the left foot, the back foot, so that it is behind the knee once again. And then we're going to bring both knees back so that they're on the floor. And then step the left foot out to the side, turning the toes on an angle to the short edge of the mat. Make sure the heel is below the knee. Walk the hands back and bring them onto the hips. Should feel a nice opening through the pelvis. Try to avoid turning the body over the front knee. We want to have it open to the side here. And then bring the arms out to the sides. There should be a long line between the back fingertips and the front, with the gaze over the front fingertips. On your next exhalation, bend the knee and lean the weight into the heel. Then inhale, lean back to center. Feel the tailbone charging down towards the floor as you breathe in and out, rocking to the side and back. Make this your last one. Then lower the hands down either side of the extended leg, which is in front, and then turn that back foot so that it is in line with the knee. Make sure that you have space between the front heel and the knee in a low lunge. The heel is below the knee, and then walk the hands up onto the knee. Bring them onto the hips, and make sure that you are aligned so that you can balance. Bring the hands down either side and reach them up overhead to lengthen through the spine. As you exhale, send the tailbone down towards the floor. Bend the elbows And take an inhalation, lean the weight back and slightly straighten the front leg. And then exhale to bend and lean into the front heel. Inhale to lean back. Exhale to bend. Keep visualizing the spine moving directly down into the floor. Make this your last one. Lower the hands either side of the foot. And then tuck the toe. And we're going to come forward so that the feet are at the top of the mat, hip distance apart. Keep the head lifted, the belly between the legs, and reach the arms out to the side and slowly press down through the feet as you rise the arms up overhead to reach through the fingertips. And then bring the palms together and exhale, bring them to the center of your chest. Swallow your saliva. Close your eyes. Spend 3 breaths here, connecting with your breath. And send the breath down to your baby now. Last breath. Relax the hands down by the sides. We'll now come to a variety of different postures and practices to help align your spine, bring symmetry and balance so that you can have a really nice feeling lower back area. We'll start off with the hands on the hips for pelvic tilts. So for pelvic tilts, we're going to first of all lift the tailbone and shift the pelvis back. And then we're going to tuck the tailbone under to bring the pelvis forward. Lift the tailbone up and shift the pelvis back. And then tuck the tailbone under, shifting it forward. So we're just making this movement from the hips, just from the lower back area to the top of the thighs. That's the area we're focusing on. Just a slight, subtle movement of the pelvis backward and forward. As you're doing this, try to visualize or just see what the pelvis looks like as you're doing it. You're trying to bring awareness to this area so that it can help you with childbirth to understand your range of motion in the pelvis and how you can manipulate this. Take a few more breaths in and out here, just familiarizing yourself with the area. And then relax, come back to a neutral spine, sending the tailbone vertically down into the floor. For hula hoop circles, we're going to push the hips forward and then around as though we were pushing a hula hoop to the side. Stretch through the side of the hip, push the buttocks back, and then reach to the opposite side. Circling forward, around, and back. So again, we're being curious, we're exploring the range of motion in our pelvic area at the same time as stretching and enjoying the movement to all these little places, all these muscles and ligaments which we might not usually feel. You want to bring a bend into the knee, you can start to bend one knee and straighten the other. Just have a play and see what feels good for your body. And then when you're ready, change direction. Keep going as if you're hula hooping. And your baby will love this. They love rhythm. So try to keep it a nice, steady rhythm. And more. And then relax, coming back to center. We're going to practice functional standing now. And this is a way for you to feel comfortable. It's your weight changes in your body and the gravity starts to shift you forward. So first of all, with the feet about hip distance apart here, as you would normally stand, we want to shift the weight forward into the toes, into the soles of the feet, and then shift the weight back into the heels. So we want the weight to be in the heels to maintain your gravity as you start to lean, become bigger on the front. We want the weight to be in the heels to help you balance that. The hands should be relaxed by the sides. The neck long with space between your shoulders and your ears. Close the eyes and visualize the tip of the tailbone. And again, draw your awareness up the spine, vertebra by vertebra, from the tailbone, moving up through the lower back, through the middle spine, the upper torso, the cervical spine, the neck, up into the center, in between the ears, center of the head. Feel some kind of lengthening up and out through the crown of the head, as if someone's pulling you gently with a piece of string. Soften the shoulders away from the ears and feel the weight sinking downward into the heels. You can open the eyes if you need to help balance. And just notice this feeling of symmetry, of alignment, the ease in standing correctly, and just breathing naturally. One more breath like this. And then we'll interlace the fingers in front of the pelvis for Tadasana. This is for balance. We're going to rise up onto the toes. So we're shifting the weight from the heels forward into the toes. As you rise up onto the toes, lift the fingers and hands through the midline of the body, turning the palms at the face and reaching up overhead, stretching through the palms, coming right up onto the toes. And then as you exhale, start to lower the hands down through the midline, lowering the heels down to the floor. The heels should reach the floor at about the same time the hands reach the pelvis. Keep going, inhaling to rise up, evenly weighting the balance through both feet, not leaning to one side or the other. And then exhaling, rolling the hands back down, sinking the weight into the heels and rocking back. So just keep going, playing with the balance, the gravity of the weight and the soles of the feet. Taking extra care here not to push too far, just enough for a little challenge. A few more. Last one. Nice. Relax the hands down beside you. Once again, bring your awareness back to that functional standing. The weight should be in the heels. The tailbone's driving down directly into the floor, long through the sacrum, reaching up through the spine, the middle back, the upper back, neck, and out of the crown of the head. We'll continue with balancing postures now. We'll bring the weight into the right foot, bend the left knee and bring the foot off the floor. If you want to, you can bring the hands onto the hips to help you balance. And then an extra challenge, reach the right arm up, Bringing the shoulders and the fingertips in line with the shoulders. Then lower the hand back down, bringing it onto the hip or beside you, and then lower the foot to the floor. Shift the weight into the left heel, balance it evenly across the sole and the toes, and then bend the right knee, bringing the foot off the floor. Keep your gaze on one point on the floor in front of you to help you balance as you lift the left arm up, reaching the fingertips above the shoulders. And then lower the hand down and lower the knee. Try to move smoothly between each side. Reaching the knee a little bit higher this time for a challenge, squeezing through the buttock as you lift. Lowering the hand and knee and move to the other side. Keep feeling length through the spine, the tailbone moving directly down into the floor. One more each side. And then relax. We'll now bring the hands down beside you. The feet are slightly wider than hip distance. And we'll come into a twist. We hug the arms like a tree to avoid over twisting, protect our spine and baby. And then we just gently move from side to side with free flowing breath. Our spine has 6 ranges of motion. That is twisting from side to side bending from side to side, and then flexing and extending, that is arching and rounding. So for really good spine health, we want to move the spine in these 6 ways. Ideally, a couple of times a day, but at best just once a day. So this is one of the exercises you can do when you wake up to help you bring some movement into the spine. And then the side bending, and then the cat-cow arching and rounding. And then pause here, swallow your saliva, and take a drink of water. Stay hydrated. So we'll keep going with our balancing postures. One that you know very well by now is our tree. So if you need to, you can have a wall nearby or a chair so that you can feel safe when you're balancing. And we're going to start with the weight in your dominant foot. So whichever that one may be, mine is my right because I'm right-handed. Sink the weight into the heel and then spread the toes wide apart and place them on the floor so that the weight is dispersed between the heel all the way up to the sole and the big toe. We're going to bend that left knee and bring the foot either onto the floor on the inside of the leg, or lift it up onto the shin, inner shin. Or we can take the hand and bring it up into the perineum, depending on what stage you're at of your pregnancy. Either way, bring the hands onto the hips and try to square the hips forward. We want to avoid leaning to one side, so a gentle bend in that standing leg helps to balance the hips. Press the foot of the lifted leg into the leg. And then find your drishti point on the floor, something to gaze at which is still. Bring the hands together in front of your heart. Feel like you're grounding down into the earth with your standing leg like a tree's trunk. And then reach the arms up overhead if you can. If not, you can stay here or with the hand on a wall or chair. As you extend the arms up, feel the length coming into the spine. Reach up through the fingertips, which are an extension of your spine. Open the palms into a V shape and bring the thumb and index finger together in chin mudra. Relax the shoulders away from the ears and send the energy down into the floor, a strong and grounded tree. A few more breaths here. On your next exhalation, bring the palms back together overhead. Draw them down through the heart center. Slowly, slowly. And then bring the hands onto the hips and release the foot down to the floor. Shift the weight into the foot and walk out the feet from side to side. Bring the weight now into the opposite foot, sending the weight into the heel, spreading it to the sole and into the big toes and other toes also, so that it's evenly dispersed. Bend the other knee and bring the foot onto the inside of the leg. Choose your level of balance. It might be just here. Bring the hands together in front of the heart. Make sure that that lifted foot is pressing into the leg to help stabilize your balance. And then the option to reach the arms up overhead, reaching through the branches, the leaves, your fingertips. And sending the energy back down through the trunk and into the earth. A few more breaths here. On your next inhalation, draw the palms back together and down. Bringing the hands onto the hips and then lower the foot down to the floor and walk out the feet, bringing the weight into both sides. Our next posture is called the old fig tree posture, one of my favorite, and a really good one to strengthen the buttocks and create some toning through the lower back also. So we'll keep the hands on the hips and then shift the weight into one foot and stretch the other one back, bringing the toes onto the floor. So we're going to feel the energy running from the tailbone down through the buttock and out the heel. So it goes in a long line down the back of the leg. Just gently bend that front knee and shift the weight forward as you lift the toes off the floor. Find your balance here with your gaze on one point on the floor. And now shift the weight back, bringing the toes back to the floor, and we'll add the arms. Reach the same arm as the leg is extended out to the side. And then this balancing leg, reach that arm up, bringing the fingertips over the shoulders. Gentle bend in the front knee, shift the weight forward, and try to lift the back toes off the floor and point them. Feel the energy moving from the tailbone down through the buttocks, down the back of the leg and out the toes. A few more breaths here. Reach up and out through the crown of the head for a long spine. On your next exhalation, lower the arms down and shift the weight back into the foot, onto the floor. Step forward and shift the weight into the other foot. Well done. Extend the left leg or the opposite foot back behind you with the toes on the floor. Slightly bend the front knee and shift the weight forward. Lift the toes off the floor. Point the toes and feel that energy going from the tailbone down the back of the leg and out the toes. Now gently shift the weight back, bringing the toes to the floor. We bring the same arm as this leg is extended back out to the side, with the palm facing down. And then reach the balancing leg up over the shoulders. Shift the weight forward as you gently bend the knee and lift the back toes off the floor. Point the toe and feel that energy running from the tailbone down the buttocks, down the leg and out the toes. Lengthen through the crown. 3 more breaths. Last breath. And then shift the weight back, bringing the toe to the floor. Lower the hands. And then bring both feet either side of each other. Nice, well done. Hopefully you're feeling some kind of nice stretch through the legs and the lower region of your body. We'll come now into Malasana. So the feet are about hip distance apart. The heels are in and the toes turned out slightly. Consciously draw the tailbone vertically down towards the floor. Take an inhalation and reach both arms up and out to the sides overhead. Palms come together, and as you exhale, bend the knees and lower the buttocks towards the floor. And then take an inhalation, reach both arms up once again overhead and look up. Exhale, bend through the knees, lowering the buttocks to the floor. Once again, reach up. And exhale to lower. Pause here, bringing the elbows onto the insides of the knees and readjust the feet if you need to so that you can squat comfortably. Press the hands into the center of the chest as you lift up through the spine. Close the eyes and visualize the tailbone moving down into the floor vertically. Feel the length through the tailbone, leading up the spine and out of the crown of the head. Feel the length through the whole spine. Breathe, 3 more breaths. Lower the hands to the floor in front of you, and then bring them behind you onto the floor and sit the buttocks down onto the floor. Cross the legs or sit comfortably in whichever way is good for you. We'll finish here with Varuna Mudra. This one's a great one for heartburn, which I know that some of you are having at the moment. And we do this by bringing the pinky finger and the tip of the thumbs together and extending the index, middle, and ring finger. We rest the back of the hand on the knees. So go ahead now, bringing the tip of the thumb and pinky finger together. Can be a bit of a challenge if your fingers aren't used to stretching in this way, but do your best. Take an inhalation and lengthen your spine here. Visualize the tailbone moving down into the floor. This mudra is actually known as the god of water as well. And water is a symbol of our pelvic area, Swadhisthana. So as we sit here with our hands in Varuna Mudra, focus your awareness on the pelvis. Feel the fluidity through the pelvis, flowing like water. The pelvic area can include the lower back. Feel the water running through this area, spacious, fluid, flowing with ease and comfort. Keep focusing your awareness on the pelvic area, the god of water flowing through the pelvis. Bringing your awareness back to the pelvis. pelvis, water, pelvis. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Let go of thoughts. Awareness at the pelvis. Notice how the body begins to relax. Tune into the subtle energy that you create through Varuna Mudra, not only in the pelvis, but throughout your whole being. Five more breaths here in Varuna Mudra. Relax the hands. Keep the eyes closed. Scan your awareness through the body, starting at the crown of the head. Move down the body and notice anything that you can feel, sensations, good or bad. Moving down through the neck and shoulders, arms, torso. Shifting your awareness down through the abdomen to your baby, down to the lower back, pelvis, legs. Just feeling grateful for the opportunity to move your body and create a beautiful life inside of you. We'll finish our class with a single Om. Bring the hands to the floor each side of you and then raise them up overhead as you inhale. Lengthen through the fingertips and extension of the spine. Bring the palms together as you exhale and draw them to the heart. Slightly bow the chin to the chest in respect for yourself, others, and the greater universe. Inhale all together. Hari Om Tat Sat. Keep the hands together and create heat by rubbing the palms, the fingers. Feel the energy circulating through them. And then when you've got enough heat, gently press them into the lower back, sending love to this area. Repeating once again, rubbing, creating heat. And this time we bring them onto our baby, sending all of our love to our baby. And one last time for our hearts, to warm our heart, and in doing so, warming others. Pressing the hands onto the heart, let out a sigh. Thank you for your practice today. I hope that you have a lovely evening and that you feel alleviated in the lower back area and that your spine feels nice and long and strong.